My name is Dan Carino and I'm a UX designer and UX career coach. And today I'll be talking about an exercise you can use when you feel uncomfortable feelings about the future. So for example, you feel anxious or stressed or overwhelmed. You can use this to calm yourself down and get clarity about the situation so that you can be your best self. Let's go. So the human brain is kind of built to survive, and to survive you have to avoid things that are dangerous, and to do that the brain makes you feel a lot of uncomfortable feelings to make you motivated. So these are these feelings that I mentioned before. So it's been very common for people, for designers that I coach, to come to me with these emotions. So I've been using this exercise a lot when I've been coaching. I've used this when someone wanted to get advice on whether or not they should take a job, and there was someone who didn't know if they should quit their job or not. And I've also used this when someone felt stressed about not learning as fast as they could at the job. So I learned about this exercise from Tim Ferriss. He had a TED Talk about this topic. I highly recommend it. I'll link it down below. But ever since I've watched that, I've been doing it every month. It's helped me calm down. And then I've also, as I mentioned, used it to calm other people down. So fear setting basically looks like this. So the first part is where you write the trigger of your fear. So what is making you feel these emotions? So put that at the top. The second section is about your fears, and that has 3 columns. In the first column, you define what fears you're actually experiencing. So what are you afraid of? What are you anxious about? All of that. And then for each of these fears, you write about what you can do to prevent them. So is there anything you can do so that the fears don't happen at all? And in the third column, you write about what you can do if those fears come true. So what can you do to minimize the effect of the fears becoming reality? And then in the third part, which is just a sentence basically, you write what might the benefits be if you get partial success. And the last section is the cost of inaction. So here we have 3 columns. So what would be the cost of not doing this within 6 months, 1 year, and 3 years? So to illustrate how fear setting works, I'll be using an example of how I did it in March. So in my case, what was triggering my fear was design sprint. So for example, you can grab a piece of paper and just write at the top what is triggering your fear. And this is called the define column. So for me, it was that I feared we wouldn't learn what we need to know to make it successful, our product, and then we don't get the right people to join. So if we want to get aligned, we need to have everyone who needs to be aligned there. And the third fear was nobody else can help with the design. So in the design sprint, we wanted to make 2 prototypes, and we wanted to do all of the prototyping in 1 day because the tests were scheduled for the following day. And what stressed me out was that, maybe we won't be able to do that if no one else could help me. Fourth, there were a lot of fears here. 4, we don't have enough people to test on. So in the normal design sprint, you have 5 people. So I was worried that maybe people would drop out, or maybe we wouldn't have anyone at all. And 5, we don't have time to test 3 concepts twice. I think at that point we wanted to do 3 concepts twice, and that was a lot of things to do in a short amount of time. And the last fear was people feel we're wasting their time. So this was actually the most anxious I've felt in a long time because there were so many things that I didn't know. Like there were a lot of unanswered things at that moment, and there were a lot of things that could go wrong. But still, there were only 6 fears. And in my mind, it felt a lot bigger. So it felt good to just have it written down to understand that it's not going to be like a list of 20 things, it's 6 things. This is the define column. And after that, it's the prevent column. So what can you do to make this not happen? So for the first fear, we don't learn what we need to know. I wrote, bring in the questions from other workshops, give enough background and enough time to generate questions focused on testing those. So, all right, I made some kind of solution for the first fear. And for the second fear, we don't get the right people to join. I wrote, postpone the sprint, ask clarification for priority from the product area manager, and make it smaller. 3, nobody else can help design. So here was make the time need smaller. So the designers that had to participate, minimize the time that they had to participate so that at least they could focus on this prototyping phase. 4, we don't have enough people to test on. Then to prevent that, we could use Facebook ads to recruit people, or even ask friends and family to recruit if we really needed to. Not the best test methodology. 5, we don't have time to test 3 concepts twice. So for that, we could do it on UserZoom, which is the user research service that we use. And to do that with people in the UK, because our target group is in Sweden. So in worst case scenario, we could do that. And then for people feel we're wasting their time, to prevent that, we could have clear outcomes and keep people active. So those were the things I could do to prevent those things. And already there, it felt good that I had solutions to what I could do to prevent these fears. And then the third column, which is also interesting, it's called repair. So what are the things you can do if the things you fear actually do happen? So in case we don't learn what we need to know, what I could do to repair that is to just do more research later. Pretty simple. So it's not like it's the end of the world. If we don't learn what we need to know, we'll just learn it later. 2, we don't get the right people to join. Then if that happens, then we just run a sprint another time or try another way to get people on board. Pretty simple. 3, nobody else can help design. Then the repair that I could do is to reduce what should be designed. Pretty simple. 4, we don't have enough people to test on. Then I just use UserZoom and test in the UK instead of recruiting people for a moderated test, which we wanted to do with people from Sweden. And then 5 was we don't have time to test 3 concepts twice. Then the solution would be that you just test the other concepts another time. And then the last one, people feel we're wasting their time. Then if that happens, I can just learn what can be improved for the next time. So there I've found solutions for how to prevent my fears from happening, and also solutions for what I can do in case my fears do happen. Having written that down already felt amazing. But to really kind of hammer it home, you have to do the benefit part. What might the benefits be if you get partial success? So for me, it was that we test the concept and learn what to do next. So even if we don't succeed with everything, it will still be a step forward. We'll learn something at least. Or if we don't learn anything about the actual test, then we learn about how to do better design sprint in the future. The third section is the cost of inaction. People often think about, okay, what's the cost of me doing this? But equally bad is sometimes the cost of not doing anything. So this will help you to understand, okay, you should do this and not really not do anything, if that makes sense. So what's the cost of inaction emotionally, physically, financially, etc.? So for 6 months, I wrote, I waste time and money, or we waste time and money, and I feel like I'm not doing a good job at being user-centric. Because if I'm not doing this design sprint, then we're not really testing the hypotheses, or we're not really checking with the users how the product, we're not getting feedback from the product, basically. And the other option would be if we did it through UserZoom, our service, but that is actually unmoderated usability test, and it's difficult to get like deep into some questions because you're not interacting with them like in a moderated one. And then for 1 year, I guess, yeah, I wrote something similar. So I wrote waste time and money, feel like I'm not doing a good job being user-centric, and I can't run big initiatives. So if I fail to do a design sprint in a year, then I'm not able to be part of this product team that I am, or in general, I can't run these initiatives that have to collaborate with several product teams, which is the reality of my product. And then 3 years, I wrote something similar, but that I can't do lead roles. So basically, I can't get people to get on board on what we're doing. And yeah, that would suck. So basically, by doing the design sprint, something that caused me to feel a lot of anxious emotions, I would be able to learn about the concept, testing the concept with people and learning something, either about the product or the methodology. So that's the benefit. And the cost of me not doing this would be that I am not skilled enough to lead these kinds of initiatives if I not do anything. So it was pretty clear, yeah, I just have to do the design sprint. Doesn't matter really what happens. The important thing is that I do it and then learn from it, because that is the right step towards my goal of becoming a better UX designer. So that's an example of what I did. If you haven't done this already, then I suggest you do it. Just grab a piece of paper or use like a notepad or Notion and do this exercise. And after you've done it, leave a comment below. Tell me how that felt. I'm super curious. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is fear setting. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, all of that stuff. And I'll see you in the next one.